ask you just in general, you guys Gen Z, I assume? Hate to say it, do you feel a little screwed? Because you look at, I mean, how much you're paying for school, you're gonna get out, everybody's saying how great the economy is. All these places are going automated now. I mean, you see the income inequality chart. I feel like I'm a millennial and I felt screwed. I could only imagine Gen Z. Wall Street's buying up homes.
Personally, I am tired of living through major historical events. All right, COVID, and now this bullshit. All right, I am tired. When I'm personally going to healthcare. I like to be a PA one day. Personally, I'm pretty sure healthcare is pretty safe from being automated. All right, so far,
So far.
If you look up your, symptoms, it'll say you have cancer or some random rare disease. I believe I'm safe with job security. But a lot of these jobs are not. In the next 10 years, factory jobs, truck drivers, all these simpler jobs will be automated. And then we're gonna have more and more problems. Automation is going to kill a lot of these jobs. The market is dying and we're on the verge of a recession. I'm just kind of waiting at this point. We're not gonna be able to buy a house. Let's be real. I mean,
You guys could rent one together.
I mean, we're living together right now in the Livy apartments, but we're still paying a lot.
I mean, I feel as though an issue though is if this country and what it's built on is still marketing the American dream, I honestly believe that the American dream is dead for our generation, frankly. Our purchasing power is some of the lowest in history compared to prior generations, compared to millennials, compared to baby boomers and Gen X. Our purchasing power is some of the lowest combined with some of the highest costs of living ever. Education and higher education's cost continues to increase and increase, and our purchasing power just keeps going down and down. How are we supposed to buy a house? Frankly, how am I supposed to take a mortgage working a job anymore, where maybe my grandparents could have done that? That we just can't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, back then you could make, $10 an hour and you could reasonably get a loan for a home. Now, making minimum wage or even $20 an hour, you're gonna need a roommate, you're gonna need to basically plan out everything in advance. Okay, in 10 years, I might be able to put down a down payment down on a house, all right? Inflation has gone out of control, and we've been kind of handed an economy and a world that's just slowly falling apart.
And inflation is 40-50% just corporations jacking up prices because they can.
My parents bought a house for a fourth of what our current home is worth, all right? Just because the housing market has skyrocketed. I'm expecting, I don't know if it's gonna be next year, next 5 years, there will be a housing market crash because no one can afford a home regardless. So at some point when that market crashes, there might be a reset. But we're hoping for an economic crash. That's how bad of a state we're in right now.
What's your message if maybe you're a business student, CNBC says the economy's great, President Biden says the economy's historic recovery. I don't see that when I go around the country.
So I will definitely say that you always want to invest throughout whatever is happening in the economy. That's what I do, not financial advice. But when COVID hit, the whole market crashed. Everyone picked up stocks that they bought, and then it skyrocketed, right? We're getting back to that peak. Once that recession happens, it's just gonna happen again. It's gonna fall, and you're gonna lose a lot of money, all right? I know my portfolio is dying right now. The economy's not good. I know family members who can't buy a house because the housing market's broken, all right? No one really wants to put their money into the economy right now because of how frantic everything is going on. And who knows, tomorrow you might lose all your money because of the recession. So everyone's afraid. And no one knows really what the Fed is doing, so it's all over the place.
And lastly, can you just kind of talk about seeing so many students out here? That's encouraging since it's for their faculty. Why do you think so many students, who obviously a lot of people are in their own world and on TikTok, why do you think so many students at multiple campuses are so passionate about supporting faculty, adjunct professors, postdoc researchers? Why are the students so invested?
I think that's a multifaceted question, frankly. I think part of it is, our attachment and our love for our professors. We are an environment where rather than maybe in grade school or high school, you might have a little fear towards your teacher, or you might, have a little bit of disdain for them. I feel as though a lot of times students in our university, frankly, do love their professor. I'm part of the political science department. I have yet to have a bad professor. Now, some of that might be luck, But genuinely speaking, every single professor I've had has been genuinely fascinating to listen in lectures, but also been very approachable, and it's been, frankly, you know, a guiding step towards my education. Part of it is also, frankly, we get it. Like, in terms of our generation, in terms of the screw, or as our students call it, the RU screw. It's common.
Unavoidable.
It's
Unavoidable.
completely.
What's the RU screw?
Oh, that's a classic. The RU screw has been around for many years.
Rutgers began, the RU screw has existed. At some point in your time at Rutgers, you will be screwed over.
It may be a bureaucratical oversight. Maybe they forgot to mention a class or two that you had to take to graduate.
Maybe a global pandemic.
Or it could be the revocation of a scholarship or grant based on some extenuating circumstance or reason that was beyond your control. It happens to everybody here. It's considered a rite of passage among students.
If it doesn't happen in undergrad, it will happen in grad. If it doesn't happen in undergrad, it will happen in med school. It will happen.
Just bureaucratic incompetence.
It could be anything. It could be, oh, hey, new update to the policy that also affects you. You need to take one extra class. I know you're in your second semester, you're a senior, but gotta take it. I have not had a summer off since I started my freshman year because transferring to RBS and I'm pre-PA, I need to fit a lot into my 4 years. Because of how summer's structured, one class as a prerequisite might be offered in the second half of summer. I can't take that class because I haven't taken the prereq. Because of this structuring and unavailability, you will get screwed over. And, you know, taking 4 summer classes, trying to plan it all out, just so then I can take 4 to 5 classes in my senior year and not have to take 6 because I need to graduate, and I need to take this class, it's how you try to avoid it, but it's inevitable.
And one more. What do you say to the university heads, the devil's advocate? They say, all right, we'll give you more wages, but it's going to lead to increased tuition. We're going to have to raise tuition. Do you believe they have to actually raise tuition if they're going to improve wages and things like that, or other mechanisms?
The answer, I believe, lies in their slush fund, honestly. Honest to God, I think this university makes more than enough money to be able to support its education, invest back into what is the principal reason for this institution existing, education. You know, we pool a lot of money. We have a lot of different departments we have to pool into. You know, Rutgers Athletics is a big contributor of that, which we pour money, and frankly, it has a lot of debt. But to the university heads and to those playing devil advocate, I mean, it's just a simple question of, like, how much do you care? I mean, how much do you care about the people who put in the work every day to make this institution shine? How much do you care about the people who, you know, will rise to the occasion, the people who are teaching undergrads and postgrads, you know, an education on 20, 30, 40K? I mean, how much do you care? And you don't. You've shown that.
I mean, personally, I laugh. When I was telling him earlier when we were in the picket line that I laugh anytime I hear that Rutgers is a non-profit institution. When I'm paying like $30,000 in tuition, I don't really believe that we're a non-profit. I mean, with scholarships and aid, sure, but like when we're paying random like administrative fees and like our term bill, I always tell my dad, like, what are all these random charges, right? I don't know where they're going, but I definitely think we have the money, especially if we were to cut unnecessary.
It's going to the buffet before the football game.
Exactly. Like, when you look, like, I don't know if it was the basketball team or the football team, but they got exposed for spending so much money on unnecessary things like DoorDash daily or Ubers for like their friends, whatever it might be. I have nothing against the team, but they do not need that much money, and I definitely think that money could be better utilized for something like this. So.
And overall, are you guys encouraged outside of academia? See, the Starbucks workers have been striking and unionizing, the Amazon workers, so many other outlets. You know, for the last 30, 40 years, unions have been declining in this country, attacks on union busting. Are you happy to see that your generation and millennials are starting to kind of organize and fight back?
Absolutely.
Oh, believe me, it's been a long time coming. I mean, if our country's history has shown us anything, it's that union busting doesn't matter. It's not a left or right issue, unfortunately, from the hands of the government. It's a question of capital, right? You know, Democrat presidents, Republican presidents have busted unions time and time and again, and I'm honestly glad that we're finally taking a stand and saying we don't care. We don't care who's up there. We frankly don't care. We just want what's right for us. I'm happy for us, frankly.
Personally, I think that although I do love my professors, I think that the hardest workers are the ones who are not on strike right now. And I'm talking about the ones in the dining halls, the custodial staff, and everyone who still is working to make our university run right now, even while all this is happening. So shout out to them because they're forgotten in a lot of this.